Greetings and welcome one and all, to me doing a sound test. Actually, it looks like we're good. Welcome, folks, this is Channel Other Doc. I am Jim, your friendly Lacuna GM. I use he/him pronouns, and this is our Invisible Sun campaign, The Edge of Paradox. Invisible Sun is a surreal slice-of-life game by Monte Cook Games. We are integrating the directed campaign, but most of this game happens spontaneously. Let us go around and say hi to everybody, and see once again who they are and who they are playing. And we shall start once more with Djinnaya. Hello.
Hello. My name is Djinnaya, and both my character and I use she/her pronouns, and I will be playing Shah Ganelon, an established gallant of the Order of Makers who cages adversaries.
Awesome. And now let us go over to Wilde. Hello.
Hi, I'm Wilde Engineer, he, they pronouns, and I am playing Shantano, they, them pronouns. They are an itinerant empath of the Order of Apostate who splinters into fragments.
Cool. And now let us go over to Anino. Hello.
Hi, my name is Anino, and I play Mac the Husk, the itinerant enthusiastic of the Order of the Goetica, who provides a vessel for spirits. And we both use, I use he, him pronouns. They use they, them.
Cool. And finally, over to Danielle. Hello.
Here, I'm Danielle. I run Raconteur on Twitter. I use she, her pronouns, and so does my character, Vormera Manas, who is a connected ardent of the Order of Weavers who shepherds minds.
Awesome. So it has been at least 3 forevers. I feel as though since we last played, especially since we didn't quite have everybody last time. And the weird thing is, according to my records here, I think the last thing that actually happened was that yes, actually that's right. It was we had a development session with Mac and a character named Electris, who was very, very kind, and a very kind and understanding character, and very helpful to everyone. A character who...
That's not how I remember it.
She's a weaver who works in the changery. But there were certain things that were happening in that actually happened before the previous session. But in the previous full session, we basically had everyone, some folks deciding, okay, let's go ahead and start heading toward the train and figuring things out. There was, I think, a point where they were talking to the mime for a little while. I can't remember what it was about, or they were thinking about talking to the mime, but they ended up just going to the train. There was, I can't remember anything that happened before the train station. It's a blank for some reason.
I was working on a spell.
Yes, that is true. They went. Eventually they went and they got tickets for the train. And they hung out basically on the train. It was gonna be a little while before it takes off. In the dining car of the train, they have these chefs that will come in and do sort of performative cooking in front of everybody, and the chef that appeared, they were served lunch by the masked chef, who managed to provide the zucchini of perplexity. And it was It was an experience. I think briefly Shantano saw a potential ultimate form for themselves as a result of consuming the zucchini. And then, as I recall, the masked chef made a... he turned it into a dessert. I can't remember what he turned it into.
It was a zucchini baked Alaska.
It was a zucchini baked Alaska.
No, thank you.
I mean, he did stuff to it. He did, that thing that you do to vegetables to trick people into thinking they're sweet. Coating them with sugar, I think it was, something along those lines. Did a dessert zucchini, and it came out as kind of like a baked Alaska. The important thing being that, when you get your zucchini as a dessert and on fire, you know that it's that something has been done to it, which is, I think, the key thing here. But in any case, something else that they saw in the dining car, they saw a few individuals who appeared to be dressed like those same people that they saw from the Church of Midnight the other day, kind of getting up and going out of the dining car. So there's that, I apparently I took notes that tell me about a lot of different things in these different cars. I wonder what it means. I wonder. Oh well.
Good. Not important.
I don't know. Yeah.
I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, you search me because it's been a while. It's like I said, it's been 3 forevers, and so my any memory that I might have of what these notes mean it's now going to be horribly twisted. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. So I believe that was Mac and Shantano and Aroshka, who were there for that. I think Aroshka has decided to go and investigate something. It could be anything because it's Aroshka. But Shah and Vor are going to, having received notice that they're going for the train ride now, will be able to get there before the train takes off, as it is wont to do. I will, however, go ahead and ask, was there anything you wanted to initiate and or set up prior to getting on the train?
Or probably goes and collects her most recent payment from the dice alley next to her house.
Yeah.
Takes a minute to play a quick game of dice or cards, and then meets everyone at the station.
Yeah. Tony will tell you that he saw Mac go into the changery.
Oh.
At one point a little earlier, that apparently he and when they left with Elatris, who you know because it is another Weaver. And I won't go into a huge amount of detail necessarily, because I cannot do it justice as Anika can. But basically, yeah, she just basically is very much about perfecting, finding interesting things to do to change people. Basically, very much into that. So it's and for some reason, Tony was just a tiny, not really, you know, Tony is never really trepidatious about anything, but we'll tell you that happened, and you know, and the fact that he mentions it does at least lead you to think, because you've known Tony long enough, that it's like maybe he might be a little concerned for someone, and this is his indirect way
Okay.
of telling you that there may be a thing afoot of some kind. So just and he wants to make sure you're informed of it. I mean, 9 times out of 10, whenever he does that, it's because he's worried it might affect business.
Mm-hmm.
But he does actually seem to care about you and your friends. This could be that 1 time out of 10 also. So.
Well, I will thank Tony for letting me know. Spend a few minutes schmoozing.
Yeah.
And go meet my friends.
Absolutamente. Shah, was there anything you wanted to take care of before going and meeting your friends down at the train station?
Not necessarily. I think if there's anything that Shaw would have been doing, it would have been kind of hanging around the Maker Hall and doing a little bit more schmoozing, because she's got like 2 options really for her next leveling, one of which is Gilda, who she thinks might be trying to kill her, and the other one is the architect, who is clearly in some kind of underground machine indefinitely. So she's like, perhaps I need to actually invest in making friends in my order. But I think that is something that we can play out further when we do whatever development session we do for how she achieves that.
Absolutely.
She's very stuck at level 1 until she finds another maker relationship that's not trying to kill her.
Well, we do need to get into
weird, complicated, forgotten past with.
Yes. We do need to. Yeah, we do need to do more development sessions coming up, because we also have guests that I've unfortunately the recent Armageddon has caused me to unfortunately neglect for a little bit, and I need to get back in touch with them and sort out some things.
So I think but I'm just saying, if Shaw's been anywhere, that's where she's been, is basically just like hanging out in whatever the maker's coffee shop is and trying to appear confident, and like sort of losing a lot of what she had gained by staying more time with her friends, like losing her being like a real honest person and going back into like the closed mask kind of person.
Oh no.
And I think she'll be very grateful to go to the train and not do that anymore.
Yeah. And I mean, we can see the only other off the top of my head, we've had like 2 other makers that have been around, and they are guest people, but potential contact with them is possible. That will be the thing we can always do as a side thing. But you head out. The train station, just as a reminder for those who are fans of the Indigo. Let me see. Do I have the map here as a thing? I do have it in the. I don't have it as a thing I can show the audience right now, but I do have it as a in the handouts, I think. Let me see here. Is it the actuality, the Indigo map? Do I have Saturnine in here? I probably don't. This is just the Indigo map. The Indigo map will show you sort of the rail line. So part of basically there is a it's kind of on the southwest end of Saturnine, sort of near the coast, is where the train station is, you both will head down there. Now, tickets. Tickets to Yestervale. Let me see if I can conjure up the memory of how much those are. It was just it was a few crystal orbs, I think. But let me go ahead and pull this open, this thing, and see if it actually will tell me. Okay. Tickets are 10 crystal orbs, 20 crystal if you want a spot in an open sleeper car. It's going to take 3 days, this trip. Price for a private compartment is 35 crystal for one person or 50 for two people. I think, actually, if I recall, someone has already gotten gotten you a space in a two-person compartment.
Oh.
This has gotten Shaw a space in a two-person.
Aw. Only being mildly a bitch about somebody sleeping on your couch really pays off.
And I unfortunately I don't think anyone paid for Vor ahead of time unless I'm misremembering.
It's okay. You said there's like an open sleeper car.
Yeah, so I mean you can take so it's a spot in an open sleeper car is 20 crystal.
Okay, Vor's totally gonna do that because she's gonna be best friends with everybody in that car by the end of this car ride. There's three mine rather.
Of course she is.
But of course.
She's gonna be running her own gambling den out of that car by the end.
Perfect. That is perfect. Excellent. Okay. So just as a kind of a reminder, for those of you who like numbers, most of these cars are about 80 by 10. About 12 feet tall. Or if you want it in meters, that's 24 by 3 by 4.
Are they single story 12 feet tall?
Most of them. But there are, I believe, a couple of them that are double-deckers. I think. At least from the inside they are. Yeah, the train has 10 passenger cars. 2 of them have a second story above them for additional seating. And so the train itself has both wheels and spider legs and other kind of strangeness. There's a I shall show it you once again. It is in the for those who have not seen the train yet. The picture of the train is when it is in motion. So it's there under Train to Indigo under the handouts.
It's your background.
This is the
It
best
is.
train.
Yes, it's what's. I mean, yes, but it's this. This is the. Yeah, for anyone who might be wondering.
I particularly like its little creepy insect legs,
Oh yes.
which I assume is how it's moving.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's got, like I said, it's got the wheels and it's got the legs, and when it's in motion, the back end kind of whips around like a tail. To anyone observing it from the outside, at least that's what it looks like.
I wonder if that's fun on the inside or terrible.
Or maybe not even noticeable at all.
Maybe.
Who can say? Who can say?
You can, because
Yeah, that's true. I can. Oh wait, that's right. I can. Anyway, so much power. But anyway, no, wait, mustn't lose focus. So yeah, you've got that. So the train itself has a passenger car. It's got 4 sleeper cars. It's got a dining car. It has a parlor car. which it's basically a bar on wheels. It has a garden car, and a luggage car, and a box car. 3 box cars. That's, I mean, you can tell that much just from looking at the thing. And also there are brochures for anyone who wants to get there to know their train more intimately for whatever reason.
Shaw will definitely want a brochure. She will probably take notes on it, and make sure that she has mapped out anything that's been missed.
Good. That's important. That's good. So are you folks going? So you're going to just sort of? So yeah, I assume that you kind of will. Shai, I assume that you and Vor are going to just sort of take your time going through before the train takes off to just sort of look through the cars and just sort of wander around type deal.
Vor's introducing herself to everybody on this train.
Okay.
As she goes along, like making a point of saying hello to everyone. Well,
you're going to it doesn't take long to get to the dining car because they wanted to make sure that was like centrally located. And so, yeah, I mean, the first thing you'll see, okay, so, but, yeah, so you got the passenger cars, which on the inside, it's about like 3/4 full. There are about like 500 people on the train. Mm-hmm. And there is someone pushing a little sort of cart with services for anyone who doesn't want to go to the dining car for lunch. Lunch has actually already taken place by the time the two of you arrive. But you making your way to the dining car. You can still get stuff in the dining car for anyone who wants to. But it's so that car looks normal from the outside. On the inside, it's wider than long. There's a full kitchen at the center in this sort of island where the performance chefs go in and will cook / perform a meal. Dining room has about like 50 tables or so, all of which somehow have windows next to them, so you can watch the scenery go by. They're dotted throughout, but each one has a window, kind of on the side of the table. They're usually the bulk of people are, the bulk of seats are full usually in the dining car. Dining in here is in addition to the ticket price. Just sort of depends what you want to pull off the menu as to how much it costs. It is in there that you will see Mac and Shantano seated at the center island, the sort of the bar area surrounding the center island where the chefs are kept, They appear to be finishing some kind of strange baked Alaska looking thing.
Vor will pull up a chair if there isn't one at their table or at the island.
It's a green baked Alaska.
And sit down. There's just a casual like, hey. And she pulls out her champagne glass. And takes a sip and then peers very intently at the baked Alaska on the table, but doesn't ask a question about it.
Hey, boy.
Hi, Shantano.
How's it going?
Oh, it's great. This train is delightful. There are so many interesting people to talk to.
Kind of reminds me of the Endless Party, but
a little bit.
Moving. Yeah. Hopefully nothing too crazy will happen here today.
Well, we'll see. I mean,
I think on kind of that fateful comment, Gamelon walks up to the table, and she's very dressed up, and she's already checked her big bag, but she has sort of a tiny metal suitcase that she's carrying with her as well. That's like her little carry-on bag, and she'll just walk up to the table and be like, "I thought we didn't say things like that anymore."
I mean, I don't know what else could possibly go wrong at this point.
I think everything's gone pretty well so far.
I mean, all things considered.
The train shudders. And then it begins rolling slowly forward after a second.
See, everything's going fine.
Wonderful.
Would you all like some zucchini? I found it very enlightening.
Is it zucchini ice cream?
Yeah, and they somehow burned it, except for mine.
That's kind of of a baked Alaska.
Was it? You said you found it enlightening. Was it the good kind of enlightening?
Oh, yes, very. I think it's kind of something that helps, when you kind of know the path you want to go. I kind of have a better understanding of what I've been searching for now.
Quite a dessert.
Yeah. I think to really get the best effect, you need to insult the cook.
Oh. Seems a little early in the trip for that. I'm gonna get a whiskey. I think Shaw goes to find some place to get a whiskey neat.
Ah, whiskey. Yes. They will. They do have whiskey. The ice cubes are little trains that will run around on the surface of the whiskey. And when you drop them in,
I like that so much.
Oh my god.
Shaw comes back looking at her whiskey glass. She's just like, I don't think I ever appreciated train travel as much as I should have. Takes like waits for the train to kind of go by so she can take a sip while it's on the backside of the glass.
it manages to. It's interesting because it's like you're giving it turbulence, and so it's like trying to. So it moves around, and it's like.
It's a very entertaining drink you have there.
I know. Who thought a whiskey neat? I mean, the true measure of a bartender is when they can take something very simple and make it interesting. So I guess this works.
I wonder what would happen if it derailed.
Oh no. It might turn into vodka.
Is that what happens when whiskey derails?
Tragedy.
Like Arrested Development. You have to drink it when you open it, Michael, or else it goes bad.
Oh, we did notice some people that seem to be from the Church of Midnight on the train.
Really?
Sure, that's something you all should be aware of.
Oh no.
Where?
They just exited towards the front, I believe.
Oh, so are they still on the train then, or did they get off?
Did you see them, Mac?
I don't think I did.
Well, should we be concerned? I'd say to Vor.
Well, without knowing who it is, I'm not sure. I personally am slightly concerned, considering that it appears that the Church of Midnight are involved somehow in what happened to me. But I don't know if all of you need to be concerned.
Well, if you are concerned, then we should all be concerned because we're friends.
That's true.
Shaw just kind of looks sort of awkward and then goes back to sipping her whiskey.
We're just Miles and Shaw, like, yes. We value friendship.
I like how we continue to define friendship for Jim.
I appreciate that. It's very helpful. Thank you very much. Just make another note. There we go.
Invisible Sun, where we continue to explore the human condition with food.
Well, maybe I'll take a short walk up towards the front of the train and see if I see anyone and circle back.
Okay.
I'll join you.
Okay.
All right. Let me see here. So, yeah, sort of, we'll start heading towards the front. And you just basically have a number of it's mostly passenger cars between here and the as we get closer to the front. I think probably the that's a great question. Isn't that a great question? That is a great question. Okay, people who know trains. Are the I'm just assuming someone here knows trains. Oh, good.
I travel by train a lot.
Would the classier, more expensive cars be located closer to the front or to the back, or is there any order to it?
So in a train like this, where you have a steam car in the front, because you see all that stuff coming out the front, whether that's magic or whatever it is, it's going to cause some sort of interference, which is going to place the very nicest car towards the front, but then the nicer cars towards the back. Because you don't want to have soot and everything raining on you. So you'll have usually a private car up front, and then you have basic cars, and then towards the back of the nicer cars that aren't getting hit by exhaust.
Okay, I gotcha. So there will be a private car kind of more toward the front, but then further back. Okay, but then it's going to be just mostly what you're going to run into then as you're heading forward are going to be just regular passenger cars before you would get to the private car. So looking at our list here. Yes, I think that's probably a thing that would happen. Since the dining, it should be all right. So as you're heading up through the through these regular passenger cars. You will see. You'll pass by someone that Vor said hello to earlier, whom I will describe in more detail if we get to it. But I only mentioned because you probably saw Vor say hello to them before, because it seemed to be someone that she knew already. It is not There's another Weaver on the train that I haven't mentioned as of yet because it has not yet become significant, but it's there. Because the time has not yet been taken to chat with them per se. It's more just, hey, how's it going? I think you see them kind of Yeah, as you will get to like sort of one of the regular passenger cars as you're passing through, that's a little further away from the dining car. You will see these 4 people sitting kind of, in these seats next to each other, next to and across from each other. Just kind of hanging out, looking out the window, looking very bored, reading. And they are wearing black and silver. And they look very much like the people from the. Actually, I think it was just Shantanu who actually saw the people from the Church of Midnight. On both occasions, actually, more than anything. Well, I mean, everyone else kind of saw them in the car, but yeah. So these are probably the ones that Shantanu was talking about.
Is there a seat nearby-ish that we could sort of sit and eavesdrop?
You might be able to. You might. It's fairly. Each car is kind of something like 3/4 full at this point, roughly ish. So it's not going to necessarily be the easiest thing, but you might be able to do something. First let me draw a card, and I shall see what the outlook is for such an undertaking.
Doom.
No reading ahead. No. Let's see. So for such an undertaking. Okay. All right. Okay then. So the card that I've drawn is the Watcher. Thank you for the raid. Hey, man. Hey. We are we are eavesdropping on people apparently in a moment. Yeah, so the Watcher is in the Mysteries family. Puts it's the sovereign of mysteries. Puts its meanings are parental figure, sight, alertness, observation, knowledge. I think this might be the card that I drew when we figured out there was an observatory somewhere. Way back then. Let's see. The Sovereign Mysteries Watcher is the father figure, shares knowledge with those close to him, advises those he deems worthy. And the wisdom that comes from taking the time to observe and contemplate before acting cannot be overstated. The Watcher watches, observes from afar, assessing and contemplating, records what he sees and analyzes the data, remains ever vigilant. From his vantage point, nothing slips by his eternal gaze. So I feel as though you're going to find the perfect spot to sit and listen to these people.
Fantastic. I will gesture to the seats, look at Mac, and sort of sit down.
Mac will take a seat, and he has a little notebook with him, and he's just going to write a little message on it, and then show it to Shaw. And it says, "We're getting better at this sort of thing."
I think Shaw will pull out her viewfinder and will create inside of the viewfinder an image of like the Spy versus Spy cartoon Sneaky Spies and just hand it to Max so that he can look and see them.
Appreciate the reference.
Spy versus Spy. Okay. Yeah. You're sort of listening to the, you know, they don't say much for a while. But eventually, after you listen to them for a bit, you do hear them say, they're like, when do you want to do it? Oh, one of these nights. Does it matter which one? Not immediately. Not tonight. Okay, we won't do it tonight. We're going to do it soon, right? Yeah, we'll do it soon. You found anybody? You found someone yet? No, not yet. Not yet. You sure? I mean, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Really? I'll be okay. All right. Okay. I'm just asking, you know, because if it's you, then yeah, no. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so whenever we do this, right? So we gotta it's how fast are we moving right now? Are we moving fast enough for this to do what it needs to do? Well, you see, that's part of the reason I didn't want to do it today. I think it might be better for us to get out over more open ground. That'll probably help out. Yeah, you're right about that. This is going to be really helpful, though. Yeah, I think so. I think it will be helpful, especially just that if we can see how this works. I think it's going to be a great benefit. A benefit to us, and a benefit as a lesson to everybody else. Yeah. I mean, you know, the importance of teaching these things can't be overstressed. Yeah, exactly. Exactly my point. They've got to know. Okay. All right. So, and they just sort of, and someone looks out a window. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I take what you mean. We're going to have to wait for it to get moving faster. You can't get a very good distance on you can't get very good distance if you're gonna shove somebody out right now. Yeah. All right, good. So there's time. Yeah. Do you know that they were serving serving this weird kind of zucchini in the dining car? Were they? Yeah. And then they start talking about the zucchini in the dining car. And I'm briefly, while this has been going on, I'm going to quickly go back to and find out what Shantano and Vor have been doing. What have Shantano and Vor been doing?
Shantano's probably still eating, contemplating.
You just like order more when you get done with yours, or what do you?
Vor's gonna pick up a fork and then shout a very clever insult at the chef. Per Shantano's advice, I am out of clever insults because things, but But yeah, Vorpal shot something extremely
Oh.
clever, and
Well, the chefs are not current, since it's not one of the main dining hours. The chefs themselves are not currently visible. They are currently contained within the center, the middle part of the kitchen that is walled off,
okay. Well,
and cannot be seen by mortals.
she's gonna say something insulting anyway, in the hopes that they'll get that shiver down your spine that you're like supposed to get when someone walks over your grave or whatever.
Oh, that, yeah.
For insults, and then, but then, yeah, with Shantano's permission, if they're all right with it, Vor will eat a bite of the this terrible baked Alaska.
Of course, help yourself.
Terrible, you say?
Well, Shantano said it's really good and like clarifying, and
So, on the one hand, I would be inclined to agree, in that it can be, to an extent. It was the raw zucchini itself that was clarifying more than anything else. This baked Alaska version of the zucchini is more of a flavor experience,
you don't
because
say.
it is diluted. The very strongly the perplexity of the whole zucchini. One can only take so much, you see. But I did draw a card to see kind of where we are. Hey, Hawkeye, thank you for the raid. Yay! What is happening, Raiders? Yay!
So many raiders.
I know.
Hi.
It's awesome. But the card we have driven is the driver. The card we have drawn is the driver. We've drawn the driver, and
It's appropriate for being on a train.
and driven the length and breadth of our randomness. But where are we? The driver is the defender of mysteries. Its meanings are impetuous, travel, forward motion, speed. Always moving forward. Sometimes there is no other recourse than to simply get away. Escape is often the best option, and the best escape is a quick one. Like a shark, the driver can never stop moving. She's always racing ahead, always moving forward, making sudden, abrupt turns down new avenues without warning. They say that it's not the destination that's important, it's the trip. Well, if that's true, the driver does its best. Because ultimately, she has no destination in mind. It's never the point. The point is speed, motion, and the ability to change one's mind from second to second, and yet do so fluidly and flawlessly. So, what is your perfect... What would Vor's perfect escape be? If Vor wanted to get away from it all, whatever it all is, where would Vor go? Or what would Vor do?
Great question, because Vor is inherently a people person, so she doesn't really do getting away. So I guess I would say probably like whatever the Las Vegas of the actuality is Vor's idea of like a great vacation, of like getting away. Going somewhere where she can meet like a bunch of people that she never has to meet again, but she can still have a really good time. And and gamble and drink and eat and
that was almost the party.
honestly, the party was like her ideal scenario.
Like Las Vegas, if Las Vegas was a country.
Correct.
I mean, it kind of is. But
That's why what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Does it?
By order of law.
there is a half world though. That is crazy expensive to visit.
For Allie.
It is rumored this is where, like, people who are like make a fortunes as criminals go to retire,
Ooh.
among other things. And basically everything is a game of chance. You can bet on pretty much anything, like up to and including how long you're going to live.
Take that bet.
There are certain things like that. But you can also, simple things like how long is it going to take them to finish the Baked Alaska, that kind of deal. It is very, apparently there are shows of some kind going on everywhere at all hours. And there is, everything is very bright. And you can pretty much wander from thing to thing and potentially gamble away, any and all of your emotions or get new ones. It's a fascinating thing. So that is that might be perhaps a place that you've heard of that you would like to go.
That sounds perfect.
And so, again, as I said, the effect is not quite as sharp as what Shantano got from eating the raw, unbridled zucchini of perplexity. But what you get is this kind of, it's like, so this is what being in a place where you can gamble everything tastes like.
Oh my god, this is the best food ever.
Is kind of the sense that you get. This is like you're reminded of this longing that you have to visit this place. So yeah, you get that feeling that sort of this sense, this idea, and it's like that kind of thought comes up again. It's like I really need to go visit that place sometime soon.
We'll just like take the bite of this baked Alaska, and she closes her eyes, and Shantano, you can see she has this heavenly look on her face. And when she opens her eyes again, she goes, "You were right. You were right. This is a very enlightening and also interesting and delicious dessert."
Alright. I was quite surprised too. Wouldn't expect a baked Alaska to encompass that.
Neither did I, but I'm happy to be pleasantly surprised. And we're on this train for like 3 days, right?
Something like that. So, what's our course of actions with the Church of Midnight right now?
I don't know. I guess that depends on why they're on this train. I was still trying to decide what would be the best thing to do about the Church of Midnight. I was kind of hoping to use this excursion as a bit of a thinking time, and maybe that's not gonna pan out the way I thought it was.
Well, if they're headed to the same place, you may have to put your plan into action sooner than hoped.
Well, I plan to have a plan when a plan is needed. That's about as far as I've gotten.
Maybe there'll be another cannon we can shoot me out of.
Maybe. I just really hope that these are not the people looking for me. Because it's going to be hard to avoid them on a train.
Well, I guess we'll get to it when we get to it.
Yeah, no point worrying about it.
Yep. So, I think a certain amount of time pass. Do you folks stay in the dining car, or are you going to get up and wander around, or are you just?
I guess it depends on how long it takes to finish the baked Alaska, but I'm not gonna leave Shantano alone. So if they decide to stay at the dining car, Vor will stay.
Shantano's pretty much done. They're. If you want to explore the train, I'm free to do that.
Let's do that. Isn't there? Didn't you say there was like a parlor car or something like that?
There is indeed.
Let's check out the parlor.
Okay. So, you're going to prepare to get up and go toward the back, because it's a little further back. We should. I should at this point. We should allow a little time for folks to however interact should they need to, based on recently learned information. I am. So I will. We will say that Vor, you and Shantano are getting up and heading toward the back of the car. So you're getting ready to head to to see where the parlor car is and take a look at it. You're probably going to be pulling. It's been a few. I'm going to say it's been like a couple of hours at this point. So you're probably getting close to the distraction, which is the first stop along this route.
Sounds distracting.
I know, right? But I'm going to go ahead and head back here to find out what Shaw and Mac are doing as a result of what they've overheard. So you've just overheard this.
I was waiting to see if Mac had a response first. I think that probably once they got up in conversation, I would turn to Mac and be like, "Should we go get another drink?"
Yes, your drink looks really fun.
Yes. Let's. I think in the dining car is where that is. And she will less than sneakily sort of stand up and head on her way back to the dining car, hoping to catch Vor, but probably missing her. But not say anything else until they're out of at least 2 cars away from these people.
As you come into the dining car, you see on the opposite end of the car, Shantano and Vor heading out, starting to head out that door.
Are they like, I don't know, really have a picture of how big this car is?
It is wider than it is, on the inside it is wider than it is long. You could catch up to them if you so desired.
Oh, okay. Then I think I'd go, Vor, wait!
Vor looks back over her shoulder. Oh, you're back!
Sort of like prance my way over there. So I think they are the people, but it doesn't sound like they're looking for you, but it sounds like we should be worried. And I'll look at Mac with kind of this question mark of like, we should be worried, right? Throwing people out of a train is bad, right?
Yeah, I think that being so bold as to talk about casually throwing people out of this train once it picks up more velocity is
Why are they going to?
probably not a good thing.
Why are they gonna throw people out of the train?
I believe they said they wanted to send a message.
That it was going to be helpful and that it was also going to teach people a lesson.
What people?
They didn't really say. It seemed to be more like, when you talk about people, meaning everybody other than what lives inside your head, it seemed sort of like that.
Well, that's not a very nice thing to do. Should we do something, do you think?
Well, they said the train wasn't going fast enough yet, and that it was going to be something once we got to more open land. So I suppose we should look and see where that is and maybe
Figure out how long it's going to take before they enact whatever plan they have?
yeah, we could, but they said that they needed to go fast enough so that, because if you push someone out of the train, they wouldn't go very far right now. So maybe we just I don't know what velocity of a train is appropriate for pushing somebody a long way out of a train, but it seems like maybe we should try to figure out a way to keep the train below that.
It would probably be helpful to figure out who they intend to throw off this train.
They did say they hadn't found anybody yet.
Or if we speed up the train ourselves, they won't have to throw anyone out.
Well, they could still throw someone out if we speed up the train. It just would mean they could do it sooner. Okay, well, how about this? How about some of us go and maybe we should see if we can find. Surely the train has like a conductor or somebody. Does your brochure say anything about?
Oh, let me look. She'll pull out the brochure.
Like a conductor, or what kind of person on the train is responsible for speed?
And I think if it's okay with Jim, that there's kind of like a little biography thing about the conductor.
There absolutely is.
With a little picture.
Yes. The conductor is waving to you.
Like,
from
meet
the
your conductor.
From the from the thing. And actually, I want to say that kind of the train, as you're doing this, the train slows down and pulls to a halt. As you can hear the attendant sort of coming through. Now stopping at the distraction. Anyone who wishes to disembark at the distraction may do so at this time. And
out of curiosity, Mac is going to look out the window and see why they call this place the distraction.
So, in the distance, you see it's this landscape, and then in the middle of the landscape is this really big tree with what looks like a bunch of TV sets growing on it. And they're each showing different things. They're like, some are showing static. Some of them are showing there's some movie or other where some people are on a bus that apparently can't slow down. There's someone is on another TV is putting on a sweater and talking to and talking to people calmly and in a pleasant voice. There are several. There are a lot of things. It looks like scenes from Shadow, or either Shadow television shows or just scenes from Shadow. People going and eating a bagel at a cafe type deal. Someone entering a bookstore and used bookstore and looking around for looking around for a book.
Huh.
And it's very distant. It's hard to really tell because the tree is so far away. So that's sort of.
Are there people just wandering around aimlessly among these trees?
Oh yeah, well, it's one big tree, and there are people. There's some sort of camped out near it. Some are just sort of like lying back and staring up at them. Some are standing, staring up at them, at the screens. Like, they're very. They're very. Most of the people around, and there are people, just sort of hanging out and chatting, and someone's like set up a picnic out there, and they're just sort of hanging out and being distracted by this tree.
Well, at least this name is very apropos. And he's just going to turn away from that window and study the people that are boarding the train and keep an eye out for the Church of Midnight folks.
Yeah, only one or two people are getting on the train.
Okay.
Most are just sort of flocking to this that are getting off. Not a lot of people are getting off either. A few. There are some people getting off to go and be distracted. But yeah, no, this is you don't see anyone in silver and black getting off the train.
Are they around at all?
Sort of heading back. Yeah, they're still they're standing up and stretching their legs a little bit, but they're still in the passenger car.
Well, unfortunate. I was thinking of throwing someone off the train.
The Church of Midnight, right?
Yeah.
That solves a lot of problems. They just want someone to be thrown off a train. They didn't specify who.
Box checked.
Maybe I need to send a message.
But yeah, with the brochure with the conductor.
Oh yes, right. I'm sorry, I was distracted by the distraction.
What's there for? But yeah.
You see an image of it's a woman who is a bald woman, glowing silver eyes. And as they say, this is your conductor, Aidase.
Can you spell that?
No. It is, or Aidas, depending on how you want to tackle this. Aidasse.
Okay. Well, then I think one of us should go talk to this Aidas and see if we can't convince her maybe to keep the train at a slower pace, so we can see the scenery, enjoy the views. Something, maybe, at least for another day until we can figure out what to do about the Church of Midnight.
I think that's a very good idea for... I'm not really good at convincing people to do things in a way that's not either stomping a foot or hurting them. And it seems really early in this train journey to do that to a conductor. Perhaps this is something you are better at than
That's fine. I can go talk to the conductor. What are the rest of you going to do in the meantime? Is there something we can do to learn more?
Do you want us to come with and back you up?
You can, if you want. We want to go as a group?
I look at Mac and Shot no.
Wouldn't mind seeing the steam engine.
Yeah, I like to know how things work. Maybe that could be our original excuse for going in, is that I want to see how it works.
It's a good enough reason to gain entry, I think.
Sure, I'm sure there's protocol for this.
Yeah, you're a visiting maker of great prestige.
Sure.
Of course you want to see how the engines work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, we can make that work. Ford looks at the brochure to see if there's like a map of the train and like where the appropriate place to go would be to see the conductor. I'm guessing it's at the front of the train, but I don't know. I don't know trains.
Excellent question.
Wait,
Because there's this so there's this weird memory, right? That is not in any of my notes, but there's this weird memory that I have, that this strange idea that the conductor is supposed to be at the rear of the train and the engineer is at the front of the train.
that could be. I mean, even if that's not true in real life, that could be true in the actuality.
So we have to walk down the tail, is what you're telling us?
Possibly.
Oh, let's do that.
I knew it was
But
coming.
I don't think... see, the way this train is set up, I don't know that that's necessarily going to be the case. The conductor is located in the rear end of the first car. Okay. So it actually, okay, so they would be near the front. My apologies for anyone who, I mean, you're perfectly welcome to go and explore the tail if you would like to.
I mean, it's a 3-day trip. I have faith.
We'll get there eventually.
Sooner or later. Okay.
Okay, so we will go toward where we believe the conductor should be.
Okay. So as you are, you're heading up once again through the passenger trains. You see once again one of the people you said hello to earlier, whom you recognized.
Mm-hmm.
And you see they've actually have started setting up the spiders game.
Vor probably starts to head in that direction, sort of subconsciously, and then has to make an effort of will to veer back to the rest of the group.
Yeah, he sees you. He sort of looks up and he waves.
He's like, "I'll be back later."
Are you sure? Oh, okay. All right. I'll get that.
Say
He's
yes.
like, absolutely. It's basically this sort of youngish looking guy. Looks more young than he is. Sort of dark skin, wears these glasses that are kind of greenish tinted. You go past, and this is the same car that the Midnighters are in. You pass them by. They kind of sort of slouch their ways back into their seats. And then there is a private car. That you may have to actually knock upon the door, or the door is not open. It is the door is locked to the private car.
I will knock. Just, quick rap.
Okay. So, okay. So, after a moment, you hear someone very lightly shuffling around in there.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear them because the train has stopped right now. It's going to be starting up again in a few minutes. You hear a voice come from the other side of the door. Yes, how may I help you?
I appear to have forgotten my key. I'm terribly sorry. Could you come open the door for me?
But it's my car.
Is it? I could have sworn it was my car.
And, here for some... Oh, no, it's quite... I booked this some time ago, I'm afraid.
Oh, you know what? Maybe my car is past your car. Do you think you could let me just... I'm not going to stay. If I could just go through here to see if my car's on the other side.
I think it's only the conductor's car to the, just in front of me, my dear.
Well, that can't be right. Not according to my papers.
Okay.
Like,
I feel as though I need you to make a roll of some kind.
I feel like that seems correct.
Shaw just gives you this look like, why did we put you in charge? How is this happening? This gets so complicated already.
You're in charge. She lies.
This will be a challenge of 5.
Okay, that seems fair. Okay, so I have a skill of 1 with charm. So I would assume that applies here since this is a social interaction. So that brings me to a 4. Okay, well, I don't want to hurt him. That's not really gonna work here. I will spend an interaction benefit to take it to 3. And then I think I'm just gonna have to roll because I don't really have much else at this juncture. At least not without hurting whoever this is on the other side of the car. And I don't think I want to go there just yet.
Okay. So 3 or better. 6. Okay.
Nice.
And so you hear, oh, very well. Just a moment. Just give me a moment.
Oh, of course. Take your time.
And you hear just sort of a series of clicks. And the door clicks open.
Do I see the speaker?
Or
do I need to open the door?
The door is sort of opening of its own volition.
Okay.
And the first thing you notice is that the train car before you looks like something out of a Victorian sitting room. It looks like a Victorian sitting room, basically, of a sort. And I think I am actually going to draw a card here to a little further flesh out some things real quick. And it seems that the card that has been drawn is the hidden moon. This is it is a secrets card. Gray is up, indigo is down. New beginnings, insight, intuition, foresight, looking ahead, potential danger. We talk a lot about the sun, but the moon has as much influence over our lives. It just does it more subtly, quietly. The moon is stealthy. It comes at night. It hides amid the treetops and behind tall buildings. Its light is soft and dim. The moon hides so that it can peer ahead unnoticed and catch a glimpse of even those things it should not see. The ever-changing moon reflects our changing nature, our bodies and our minds. It represents intuition. The moon is present when we feel more when we feel more than we think. When something just feels right or feels wrong, that might be the moon's influence. It also represents inspiration, a sudden new idea. When hidden moon is played, something new begins. It suggests looking forward, not backwards. But what's coming ahead might be dangerous rather than beneficial, so be wary. So the door creaks open, and you see that there is this car. It has a bed that's like a four-poster bed in it. There's a vanity mirror on a dresser. There's a settee. There are a number of there are a few sort of Louis XIV looking chairs in here, and a couple of overstuffed chairs. There's a fireplace. See, I can add fireplaces too. There's a fireplace.
On a train, Jim. Come on.
I know. Who would ever put a fireplace on a train?
I would. So.
But it's Saturday, so I can get away with it. And this fireplace is real. It's as real as the interior of this train car.
How long have you been holding on to this?
I don't know. Probably longer than I want to admit. But, so, sitting at the vanity, sitting at this little sort of table in one of these chairs near the fireplace, you see that, someone is seated in this chair, and they're turned away from you. And what you can see of them right now is sort of like the back of their head a little bit. They have some kind of a headdress, sort of draped in white. They're wearing some kind of a veil, you think. And you see their hands have come out and sort of waving and then coming down and sort of writing something on some kind of on these sheets of paper. As you were sort of you see this sort of you see the snatches of sort of white voluminous robes on this person. There's this kind of sort of weird, sickly, honeyed smell as you enter the car that is kind of almost overpowered by the smell of the fireplace, but it's there, clearly. And you hear her say, "You may come through." And when you see her hands, her hands look very kind of skeletal, sort of very shriveled and very pale.
Okay, Vor will step inside and she says, "I'm so terribly sorry for the mix-up. My name is Vor Maravanas, and I do deeply apologize. We will just, my companions and I will just be on our way."
Shaw will immediately start examining the doorway and start muttering about, it just seems ridiculous to me that you wouldn't put some sort of a magical passageway from one side to the other that didn't absorb the space inside. Why would you not? I don't understand. That seems such a ridiculous design for a train car. Like, she'll just be looking around for like some reason that there isn't just like a teleportation from one side to the other. Like, why would you not do that? It seems so simple.
And as you step in, the train lurches and begins moving again. And you hear say, "Well, come in if you're coming, and do close the door if you would."
Of course. Come on if you get the door.
I wait for everybody else to come in and close the door and then inspect the closed door to see if I can figure out any reason that somebody would not just make a magical passageway from one side to the other.
So, the inside of the door is actually a little bit different from the outside of the door. It's, it looks more kind of, looks like it's like a wooden door, basically. Whereas the thing that you had knocked on was more sort of a weird sort of synthetic thing.
Okay, we're just gonna head for the other side of the car.
She continues to write.
I guess if everybody else...
Vor is heading across, and you can basically make it to the other side, not too long.
Shaw will notice everybody's left her behind looking at the door and will stand up and sort of scurry past me like, "Excuse us, I'm so sorry." Like, follow her friends.
It's all right, I suppose. If there has been some sort of mix-up, you should get it sorted out, I expect.
I'm terribly sorry once again. And then I'm going to open the other door into the conductor's car.
You open the door. And then, there's basically, you have to step between cars, and as the train is moving, and this is another door that is locked. You'll perhaps have to knock upon it.
I will knock. Yeah, I mean, worst comes to worst, we can probably magic our way through, but knocking seems polite.
I mean, it helps. Wouldn't hurt. It's good to try it at least. Okay. Okay. So the door opens and you see what looks like one of the attendants. This is a person in a green and dark blue uniform with a little round hat. They look their features are slightly feline. And they look up at you, or they look over at you. Yes, how can I help you?
Hello, this, and Vor turns to Shaw and pulls Shaw forward if Shaw's not immediately
Shaw
there.
stops looking at the door that they just came through and turns around and is like, "Oh yes."
And at this point, and they kind of were, and they just sort of blink as as they see. Yes, how can I help you? As they're saying this, there's sort of saying, "Yes, how can I help you? You're great." Oh.
This is the great Shah Gamelon of the Order of Makers, a very wise and famous maker in Saturnine, and she is probably the most important guest on this train today, and she wishes to see the engines of the train in order to learn more about their function and perhaps suggest improvements.
Are you Are you a friend of the Duchess?
Well, we did visit her car briefly on the way through. I was noting that it's very... Never mind.
Yes, we are friends of the Duchess.
I feel as though there's a roll that needs to be made of some kind here. I'm just getting that sense, that feeling. Sometimes you ever get that feeling that
This is the most Vor has lied in weeks.
that perhaps someone should roll a die?
I would offer a Bene to help, except that I think that the look on Shaw's face of abject panic is not helpful.
It's okay. What is the challenge of this?
4.
4? Okay.
4.
Well, I will.
I will donate a Bene, and because Mac and Vor are good at running these sorts of
That's true. We're good
dual
at running
cons.
the buddy con. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, well, I'll totally back up the Duchess story.
Cool. So if Mac loans me a Bene, can I also spend a Bene?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Cool.
What, Mac? What do you say when you are to help out? What do you do to help out?
Mac is just going to start making up a story about the last time that Vor himself and the Duchess were together on a he will actually spin that pirate mime ship voyage and into a story of high seas or high skies adventure partying.
Awesome.
Nice. Yeah. 4 just nods and interjects as appropriate. Okay, so 4 with the 2 Bene and my charm, that takes it down to a 1.
Mm-hmm.
And here we go. 9.
Awesome. Okay, that's the best possible thing you can roll.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they kind of they look up. They're like, oh, okay. All right. I'll just have to tell the engineer, but I'm sure she won't mind.
Please do.
Yeah. And just a moment. And you see them turn, and they go and into this car, which is similarly, it's very the interior of this car is kind of strange, sort of dark. There's silvery light like coming off of most of the surfaces of the inside of this car, and it's like these light sort of trails up the walls and down the walls and across the floor and ceiling, and these pulses, these lines that come across in a way. As you're seeing this kind of, it looks like an office. You have a desk, and there's a cot in here as well. Sort of, but there's you see, sort of seated at this desk, the person whose picture you saw in the brochure, the conductor, Arras, and she is again, bald, glowing silver eyes. These pulses all come to a point on her desk, and there's this shining sort of orb sitting atop the desk that she seems to be communing with in some fashion as she is working.
Vor will clear her throat very loudly and then just turn towards Shah and be like, announcing the arrival of the great Shah Gamelon of the Order of Makers.
And at this point, the attendant will be up, sort of at her elbow, and will sort of whispers something in her ear. She comes. She turns. She looks at you with her glowing eyes. Yes. You wish to see the engine, is that right?
Yes, please. Is it a made thing, or is it a living thing?
It is. It is made, but our engineer is something of a part of it.
Fascinating. How so?
It is, more the way that, and she stands up and she's drifting toward you. It is the way that Boris, the engineer, interacts with the engine. In many ways, as he oversaw a good portion of its construction, he and the engine are, in a way, one.
Is he a maker?
Yes.
Or... Oh.
We should just be getting to a place where we can go and chat with him if you like.
That would be lovely. I'd love to chat with him. So, if he's part of the engine, what do you do as a conductor?
I manage the affairs of the train. Manage the affairs of the passengers on the train.
But so, for example, how the train adjusts. How the train adjusts to outside circumstances would all be Barris, and you would handle the interior of the train and how everything functions within the cars.
Very good. Yes.
Fascinating. I kind of look at my friends like, oh shit, we're talking to the wrong person. Well, I would love to meet Barris at some point. You know, I've always felt that the evolution of the maker at some point is to become the made. Would it be possible for me to have an audience, or would it be too distracting?
No, you should be able to talk to him. He's just gotten us underway again. And we won't have a huge amount of time, as we will have more stops today.
Of course.
But we should have a little bit. She stands up. And she drifts over to the opposite opposite side. How do you feel about traversing a coal car?
That sounds wonderful.
Actually,
Mac is just going to quirk his eyes and just be like, really?
Tor leans in and makes it look like she's saying something like really official in Shaw's ear, but she says, good enthusiasm. Keep that up.
Coal cars sounds so much like forges to Shaw that she's just like, oh my gosh, someplace that's not like Victorian furniture. Yes, please.
So the coal car doesn't actually have coal in it because it's more representational of the idea of coal than actually coal itself.
That is the most actuality thing you could say.
Because
that's what we are all about here.
That's right.
Of the thing than actually the thing.
Yeah. It's more the idea of it. Basically, this door opens and you see the car in front of you is on fire. Just internally burning, as this basic idea of fuel and soot and smog circling everywhere. And there is, it's kind of like you are down below in an industrial complex or a Victorian factory where people are stoking the boilers, except there are no people here. It's just this sort of idea of coal that is drifting around. And there's a path through. And the conductor says, "Now, there is a certain amount of risk, I should point out. If you wish to traverse the coal car, especially if you've not been through before. I will show you the way, but just understand that there is the possibility of being caught up in the toil."
Oh.
But if you really, really wish to see the engineer, we will go.
I turn to my friends and say, you don't have to come with if you're not comfortable. I can try to figure it out on my own.
Why did you go alone?
I'll go. Why not?
I'll come with you.
Okay. Does Shantanu just stand there?
Oh, Shantnu's following along.
It's like, whatever. Toil, schmoil.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, let's be real. We followed you already into the green. Was it the green or the blue? The blue. And we followed you into the endless machine. And then there was that whole thing with Limerence Street. Yeah, I think we're
Probably okay.
we're okay.
I turn around and say, I feel confident that we'll be okay. Is there any advice that you can give us for the best way to traverse the coal car?
Just do not surrender to the rhythm of it. You will have to work with the rhythm because it's a train, but do not surrender to it.
Got it.
And Shantnu is like, I volunteered to get shot about a cannon, and that was incredibly fun. So this can't be that bad.
Volunteer or voluntold?
Can they not both happen?
It all worked out. Despite ourselves, he mutters under his breath.
So, the person who is going to have to roll is the one who is blazing the trail through the coal car. Everyone else should be able to follow if they're following closely enough, without being swept up in the idea of eternal toil. The conductor will help you, so it is only going to be a challenge of 4 to make your way through the coal car without surrendering to it and becoming like unto a piece of coal yourself.
Okay. I feel like Shaw is leading the way. Does everybody else feel that's correct?
Most likely.
Yeah.
Okay.
We might have something that can help with this.
I would definitely like to put my point of mining towards this because mining and
yes.
toil are the same thing.
Absolutely.
So it was, I'm sorry, it was at a 4, so that brings it down to a 3?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Would this be a magic that lies outside codified practices such that I could help by giving Shaw advice?
I don't really think this is necessarily a deliberate magic per se. This is more of a. This is more of a revelation of a the inner nature of a thing.
Okay, fair.
I would like to, out of my tool bracer, produce a bell, an iron bell, and I would like to ring it as we walk through at random states of rhythm, contrary to whatever we're hearing.
Oh, that's good. That's very good. So yeah, they'll take another off.
And then I would like to apply a movement bene to be able to move along the best path.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, that'll bring it down to 1.
Okay, so now I just have to not roll a 1 or a 0.
Well, you can
Has
roll a
anybody-
1. Just don't roll a 0.
Has anybody seen my dice map, my dice luck lately? Hooray!
9. Excellent. So you very easily traverse this. After you get in, after a few minutes, it's like you can hear the people toiling away, even though there are no people here. You can sense them being shoveled into, the pieces of coal being shoveled in. You hear the the rhythms of the workers that are not actually here working. But you make it. You ring your bell at sort of odd intervals to snap yourself out of it. You're able to wander back and forth to the rhythm of the train because you have to. You cannot, but then if you don't, then that will take you like 5 times as long to get across because you're going to be falling over and going lurching one way when the train lurches the other, etc., etc. Yes, you blaze the trail through these massive piles of coal, or conceptual coal. It's not actual coal. And finally, before you is the engine. And I'm going to draw one more card here as I endeavor to explain the engine. Let me see. Here it is. I have drawn the enveloping darkness. So this is an invisible card. A card of the invisible sun. It is of mysteries. Its meanings are restriction, loss, and endings. Dark isn't an absence of light. Light is an absence of darkness. Darkness is the default. It moves in to fill any space the light abandons. The dark was the totality of the actuality before the suns existed, sun or suns. And according to many, the dark will be the totality again, once the suns are gone. The darkness is the end. It takes things, it takes us. It grabs, constricts, and overwhelms everything not warded by the light. In divination, the enveloping darkness portends an ending. Something draws quickly to a close. Endings aren't always bad, though, so this card turn can bring relief as an affliction or a problem comes to an end. The card can also mean restriction or denial. The tendril of the enveloping darkness can hold us fast and keep us from doing what we want, an end to freedom, so to speak. The card does not suggest death for the person in question, but it can suggest the death of someone involved in the matter at hand. So, before you is this engine. And just kind of, I will one more time show what the engine looks like from the outside for those who want to take a look at it real quick. On the stream there. It's kind of like sort of if When I look at the way they drew this engine, I'm imagining it's like if H.R. Geiger wrote a children's book. So you see this being, Boris, whom you hear the conductor call out to him, Boris, you have some visitors who just wanted to see the engine. And Boris is part of the engine, it seems, the way that it looks. He's more metal than flesh. This could have been a person at one time, perhaps. I mean, he's still a person. But you see that all these tendrils of metal that come off the front are attached to him. It's like he's kind of part of the front wall of the interior of this engine cab. You see he's got a metallic face. It looks kind of like a mask. His broad chest. His arms bound into the engine. These two red fiery lights appear in the eye sockets. Who disturbs the work of the engine?
I guess that would be me. I'm sorry we're disturbing you, Barris, engineer, sir. I kind of like do a little curtsy, which is just like a clanking of metal skirts.
Who are you?
Oh, I am Shaganalon.
Steam rising from his ear, well, where his ears should be. He may or may not have them.
I'm getting big Wizard of Oz vibes right now.
Yeah. You think?
I am Shagamalon, Order of Makers, and I am impressed. I'm sorry to disturb you, but this is fascinating to me. You're a maker, correct?
Yeah, this engine cab is kind of big, and it's like there are these sort of cycling piston-like machines that are down below that are working, always working. And the idea is that there are these couple of sort of imps that are like hopping up and down around these things with shovels that continuously shovel what appears to be something like coal into them, but there's no actual coal pile they're taking from, so it's hard to know where it's coming from.
It's coming from conceptual piles.
Yeah, conceptual coal, really. They're shoveling conceptual coal into the engine. You have already purchased a ticket, have you not? You are seeing the wonders of the lands to the south of Saturnine. Is this not sufficient?
Oh, I'm always more fascinated with machines than I am with lands, but we are in fact enjoying. I kind of look backwards at more. We are enjoying the lands. It's just the train is so fast that it almost feels like we're missing things. I feel like maybe, you having traveled this way so many times and having so much power, it just seems like it's almost hard to see it as it goes by so fast.
You would dare to slow the passage of the train?
Oh, I would hate to presume. I would just wish to be able to see more as we passed. I would wish time to enjoy the wonders that you want us to see.
Okay, so Boris is Boris is a well, you're just talking to him really, so it's going to be level 5. Challenge of 5.
Can I use my order of makers to relate? I'm trying to
Yeah.
we're
You can do
both
that.
makers.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're both in the order of makers.
So I would like to use I can only use one connection point. Is that correct?
I think so.
So
For
I can
this
use
anyway, yeah.
my order of makers. I can use one of my very few interaction bennies.
Would you like to do that? Yeah, if you do,
so
then
that
that'll
brings
bring it down to 3.
3. Yeah, I don't think gardening helps here.
Out of curiosity, could I channel my ability, where is it? Spirit of the Orator, and sort of back up Shaw?
Yeah, I think you could do that. You're sort of helping out. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, doing that, you'll be able to knock it down a little bit further.
Okay.
Can I also help by being irresistibly charming?
Was there a rule about maximum number of people that can help, or
I
am
don't That's why I'm
imagining?
I honestly can't remember for sure. I'm sorry. It's been three
how-
forever.
You want to be terrible? Yes, you can be charming. Yes, we'll knock it down to a 1.
got this.
Okay, you do have this. All right. So, it is true that often we do, as makers, not take the time to appreciate what we have wrought,
That is true.
and the joys and despairs that they bring.
Oh, yes, I suppose that's true too.
I shall grant you this wish, but I would ask something of you as well.
What can I do for you, Barris?
There is one who upon this train who plots treachery against the engine.
Oh no.
Discover this. Discover if it is true. They perhaps do or they perhaps do not, but I have concerns. Bring unto me, venture forth into the car of the garden, and consult the seer on this matter. For I do not know if they who plot this treachery are of the now or of the yet to come. Bring me this knowledge, and I shall grant your request.
Of course, I would be more than happy to help. Of course. Shaw just kind of looks around at all the different connections.
This fire emerges from a couple of what looks like sort of pull whistles for no apparent reason.
Yeah, and she like almost has a moment where she's like, I kind of want to ask if he has a coffee break and if we could sit down and talk about how this happened and why this works and everything else. And I think she kind of stops herself and like she goes, I mean, yes, of course we'll do that. Thank you very much. We should probably be going and let you do your things. Like once again, kind of curtsies in this clank of skirts and backs up to her friends. Like, did I do okay?
Or I don't. Did the conductor come with us?
Yeah, the conductor's standing quietly at the back of the room.
Okay, yeah. Then I'll turn back to the conductor and say, "The great Shah Gamelan would like to leave now."
Oh yes, back this way.
For some reason, Mac just assumes the air of a bodyguard or security detail as he walks about 2 paces front and 1 pace to the left.
Love it.
I guess as the conductor closes the door and all that room, Shantanu will be like, how did they know I was thinking of sabotaging the engine if they didn't slow it down for us?
I feel like that is the perfect place for us to bring this session to a close. That is the perfect line to end on, I think. So if there are no objections, we're going to do that. Okay. So we're going to go around real quick. We actually are running short on time here. But I'm just going to ask, just going to go around real quick so we can record here. Should we have joy or despair? I'm just going to go regular order. Shaw, do you feel you've gotten joy or despair or nothing?
I kind of want a joy for the fact that she got introduced as like the great maker and nobody questioned it, that she managed to like pass herself off as a person of like high quality when she's been so frustrated by not being able to like excel further. That's
good. No, that's that totally works. That works for me. So you get a joy for that. And now over to Shantanu. Do you felt like you got either a joy or a despair this session?
I don't think they got anything in particular.
Okay, well, that's fine. And over to Mac. Do you think you got a joy or a despair this session?
No, I did not.
Okay. And then finally over to Vor. Do you think you got a joy or a despair this session?
I would probably say a joy for Vor between the baked Alaska with the visions of world where she can go and gamble her heart's content, to her new friends in the car who are setting up a game, to lying her ass off and getting shot at the front of the train.
Yes, that was glorious. All right, good. No, that works out nicely. So we're going to go ahead, and now that we've recorded that, we're going to go ahead and do our outros. Feel free once again to say where folks can find you and any final thoughts you have about this session. And we will start with Danielle.
Hi, I'm Danielle. I'm Ryan Raconteur on Twitter. You can find me tweeting nerdy things. And you should also come check out twitch.tv/roll4change, the number 4. On Friday at 8 p.m. this coming week is the finale of our Dresden Files game, the Portland Files. We have 99 problems and also a 100th problem. And everything's going to go up in smoke probably. But you should come watch it be a trash fire. Yay. And as far as, it's first of all great to be able to play again because I haven't been here for a couple of weeks, so this is really nice. And I just think this episode is yet another great example of how wonderfully weird Invisible Sun is, between the distraction and the bizarre coal car with its conceptual coal. It's really good.
Yay. Very cool. All right, and we'll head now over to Anino.
Hi, my name is Anino. You can find me on Twitter at Anino Gaming. Let's see, coming up, you can find me here again tomorrow at 7 p.m. for Dark Matter, DM'd by Origami Shuriken. Had a great time tonight. I missed playing with Vormera and Shaw, and I guess Chantineau. Kidding. But it was great because this game is always fun with its quirky sitcom-y vibe. So looking forward to next week.
Excellent. And now let us head over to Wilde.
Yeah, hi, Wilde Engineer, at Wilde Engineer on Twitch and Twitter. All that. I guess you can also catch me usually on Saturdays, earlier in the morning, on Pro Restarters channel for some D&D set in Teldoray. We're kind of doing some individual RP at the moment, so I'll next be on in 2 weeks, so we can see exactly what my character's getting into after this short break. Yeah. It was fun. It was great to see that we all have a plan and that we have to continue dealing with this Church of Midnight. We may as well just throw off the train, honestly. So.
Yeah, just wait and see what happens. Very cool. And finally, over to Djinnaya.
Hello, my name is Djinnaya, and I play good games with nice people. And you should follow me on Twitter, especially if you're somebody who knows someone who makes really good emotes or makes really good overlays, because I'm doing a bunch of design work right now and I have no time. And I hear a lot of people have no work. So if you know those people, follow me on Twitter and send them to me. So, and then surprises after that, I guess. I really enjoyed playing this game again. I didn't realize how much I missed it until we kind of got into it. I've been playing a lot of games in Weird Worlds. I'm running a Girl Underground campaign right now, but there's something special about the particular flavor of weird that is Invisible Sun that you just don't get anywhere else. And I just like that moment when I got the whiskey glass with the train ice cube going around in it. I was like, yes, I love this kind of weird. So good. Thank you, Jim.
Oh, thank you. I've always wanted that kind of ice cube. Well, as for me, I am very happy to be back in the actuality, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what happens as we continue our journey next week. I think this is going to be quite interesting. Once again, I'm Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on both Twitch and Twitter. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I have links down below to my website, Twitter, YouTube channel, and some of my fiction and games I've been working on, along with links to game signups and applications to join our Discord. So on this channel tomorrow afternoon, we will have a one-shot of Weird War 2 that I'm going to be running. That is a Savage World setting, part of their Weird Wars series. We're going to take a stab at it. It's basically fighting monsters in World War 2. Then on Sunday night, we will have Dark Matter, Ghosts of Saltmaw, Ghosts of Salt Marsh in Space, as run by Alyssa. And where one might find fireplaces on space stations. It's entirely possible, among many other things. But I will never let that fireplace go, damn it. No. On Tuesday afternoon on this channel, we are continuing our short campaign of Alas Vegas. James is currently in the dealer's chair. It's a rotating GM type deal, and we're all in a very twisted, surreal version of Vegas. Trying to escape. On Tuesday nights this month, we have I'm running our short campaign of Monster of the Week. We've already had a little bit stirring up as they discover that there are portals in places and things are getting weird, and I will be excited to see how things progress. On Wednesday nights, we're trying to get back to our Masks campaign run by Mo Thulu in the fictional city of Doctropolis. Hopefully we'll be back to that soon. And then on Thursday nights, we have our new short campaign of The Sprawl, run by guest GM Brian, which we put our characters together, and already I am incredibly excited about the whole thing. Very much looking forward to that. And then, of course, that brings us back to Saturday nights when we will have more of this. And so I urge everyone to tune in if they're so inclined. signups currently are open. I've just opened signups for the short campaign I am going to be running next month of May. That is going to be Call of Cthulhu. I've never actually run Call of Cthulhu before, the core game, and so I will in fact be taking a stab at it. Just an investigation of eldritch horror in the 1920s, based on the works of H.P. Lovecraft. So signups are now open on the site. If you want to sign up for something, just go down to click on RPG sign up, or go to jimmyesthatjim.com and click on game sign up. As always, beginners are welcome. And there will be more signups showing up there as time progresses. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and send a raid over to... okay, Eric Vulgaris is playing Battletech, so I feel a desire to go over there and say hello, for it amuses me. The computer game version of Battletech, I should say. So I'm going to go over there and say hi to him. Feel free to hang on if you are so inclined and say hi to him with us. That will be when we hit the end card. Thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and we will see you next week. Farewell.